Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to episode 3, I think. 2 bookshelf build, $2,000. This is the second glue up. This is the second glue up. I've arranged these so they have a crown. If it's got a crown up and if there's a slight bow in the boards, I put that to the front. That's just how I do it. So curve out, curve up. Now I've set these because some of them are a little tighter than others. You know, they all vary just a little bit. So these are all fitting okay. Hopefully they fit the other side. So I'm just going to pop these out. I'm going to pop them out and lay them down just like this. And then when I glue them, I'll grab them and put them up. So we'll get this ready. One little thing I found is, you know, normally you don't want to over glue or whatever, but I'm putting like twice as much glue in as I should because I think it stays. This is taking a while to get it all together, so the more glue you put in, it'll stay wet longer. But this time I'm thinking about not putting anything on the shelves, just putting plenty in here and then setting them. And then when I set the shelves, I'm trying to flush. One other mistake I've made in the past is not getting these flush, and then once it's in there, you really can't move it. So try to get them flush before and then you can put them in. So get these ones in, and then I'll set this on the ground, and then glue the other one, put it on, hammer it in, check for square, clamp it up, stand it up. That's how I did the last one, and it worked. So glue number 2, glue up. So let's do it. Got my glue bot right here with Tight Bond 3. Next step, to put strip boards here. 1.5 inches. I'll take measure. 1.5 inches. got something close. This is not 1.5, but it's close. This is getting skirt boards in here. And I'm just gonna apply these. You know, there's no joinery here, except I'm gonna glue it. It'll get glued. I'm gonna put this back. I'm gonna put it back 1/4 inch or so. Just gives it a nice shadow line. It'll look really good when it's all put together. And then I might put a screw. I'm debating on putting screws in here, or trim nails, some kind of mechanical fastener. But so then that's the next step. And these are the kind of the show ones. Up here will get covered. These will end up getting covered with trim, so I might just flush these out. Same as the bottom, because that's getting base trim. So not too big a deal. I'm gonna cut some boards. I'm gonna pre-sand board, cut a board. I'm gonna rip a bunch at, like, I need 1.5 inches. But this time I'm gonna get smart and I'm gonna cut it bigger so that when it all springs, I'm gonna let it set a little bit. So I'm gonna cut 1.75 inches and then let it sit for a little bit, and then I'm gonna joint them and recut them so it'll be nice and straight. I wanna get all that stuff applied today, but I wanna tell you really quick about the glue up. This second one went incredibly twice as good as the first one. Was really crazy. I didn't tell you the story with the first one. The first glue up, you know, I got it together, the glue starts it starts flashing a little bit, and it's just, you know. So here's a tip. What I did was I added, it seems counterintuitive, but I put like twice as much glue in as you want. You know, if you ever glue anything up, put tons of glue in there, it takes forever to dry, right? So that this was wanting to set up. So anyway, I put like twice as much glue in there, and then so by the time you get it pulled together, there's still wet glue in there, right? And also the pine, or this dry porous wood, you know, it's just sucking the water right out of the glue. I mean, it's making it dry quick. So, but so the first one, if you saw me struggling with it, I couldn't. It was like 3/8 out of square, the whole box. So I finally ended up realizing I tried to clamp it on the table and yank it around, but I put it on the ground. What I'm trying to say is, a good, as far as a tip, a good way to do this was to select the shelves ahead of time, put them in there, preset them, and then glue it up, glue one side up, set it on the floor, fit the other side, lining everything up, hammer it in. And then I checked it for square, and it was a little bit off. And so I took the whole thing and just kind of racked it, you know, cranked the whole assembly, checked it for square, and then it was square. And then I went ahead and put like 4 main parallel clamps on, and then I put single clamps on every joint, and then I took boards and hammered them. So this one went way smoother, worked out really well. It was a difficult glue up, but now I got it. I figured I got a good process now, so I could glue these up all day long, you know, with that process. So it worked out. So anyway, you get to this. These skirt boards, skirt boards, and then filler boards. That's the update, and now go ahead and cut some wood. You know, kind of hate to cut this up, but it's nice and clear. This is that one that was a different size than the other ones. It's 11 1/8. But I'm gonna cut this in half. I'm gonna rip a bunch at 1.75 inches, let them see if it springs. This board seems fairly stable. We get to cutting this stuff and trying to get this stuff assembled today, and then after that it's like putty, paint, and then the trim, which I'm gonna talk to the customer about the trim. In case anyone is wondering, okay, in a couple of videos back I made a bookshelf, you know, just a experiment, practice bookshelf, and I posted it online like it was for sale, or then I changed the ad to I changed it to like custom furniture available, right? And this person, I kind of know him. I went to grade school with their family. I kind of know them from way back, but still, that they moved into a new house and they wanted these shelves for their house because they didn't have anywhere to put all their display stuff and pictures and things. So that's how I got this job, was basically from a posting on Facebook ads. And you know, it turned out it's about a week's worth of work probably. I've been on it a few days, 3 or 4 days off and on. So anyway, that's the update, and let's continue. If you're gonna spring now, or forever hold your spring. These are holding pretty stable so far. They seem like they're pretty decent. Check this plane out. I got this for $10 at like a secondhand, kind of a renovation store or something, I don't know, but $10, and it was all rusty, and I did a quick restoration. It's a Bailey number 4.5. It's pretty sweet. A smoothing plane. It's one of my favorites now. I'm gonna do a quick touch up on this because I haven't touched it up in a while. But yeah, it looks pretty good. I did like a quick restoration. I didn't, you know, go crazy with it, but so touch this up, and then I gotta plane those. But yeah, it works really well. And I put this nice ebony stain on it, so it's not perfect, but, you know. Touch this up. I've been using these natural stones lately. They seem to get things super sharp. I didn't really like them at first, but so this is just a really quick touch up. Okay, well, I thought I was recording that. I didn't hit record, but I jointed those, and they still seem to vary a little, so I cut them twice. I cut them twice through the table saw, okay, and they're nice and straight now, and they seem to be staying. So give it a little bit of time, and it, you know, they did spring a little, and now they're nice and straight. So I got those. Now I'm going to start. I'm going to bring the cabinet over here and start fitting these. Figure out the depth I want, and then make a little jig, and then just I need to get these on there, and then I might cut the backboards. I'm gonna trim the front. Anyway, we'll get to that. I was gonna plane the front first, but I think I'll just go to the shelves and then I'll clean this up later. So I want to get these pieces on and glued, and so they're drying, and then move on to the backboard. Then pretty much after that, it's pretty much putty and paint, and then the trim is last. And still trying to figure that out. So.
I can hear the demons call when they do what they do, and now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through. Cause I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. Sometimes I feel like all is lost, but I know it's not true. I wanna put up all my walls cause I'm not in the mood, but then I cut myself off from the rest of the room. I know that time can heal it all if you're patient, and soon it can all be worth it, all the searching. Pain is never really permanent, but damn it hurts, man. I could feel all of the turbulence and it's concerning. I've been searching for a purpose, I hope it's worth it. This society is really trying me. Ain't no hide and seek, I hide to be far from anxiety. I need my space, I need my privacy. I need some silence, please, you're all too loud. You don't speak quietly, opinions violently thrown across every surface. It makes me nervous, is the world honestly burning? That's all I'm learning. Hope that we can make a turn and start reversing all our minds and put the work in. We got some work, man.
Okay, so that's how I'm doing that. It's a little bit messy, but I like to make sure I get plenty of glue. So I kind of figured out a little method. I put it on the ends, soak in the end grain, put some on here, try to put it in without it scraping all the glue off, and then I tip this one out and got a nice bead right in there. So it's not maybe the best way to do this, but this is going to be a good glue joint here. And then, like I said, I was debating on putting screws in here, which would be like just an extra safety measure. Or I'm thinking long term, you know, glue joints can fail over a long period of time. A long time, but anyway, that's how I'm doing those. A little bit. Once I got it figured out, it'll go quicker. So it's good to get these tight. Some of them, they're tight on the outside, but then when I pushed them in, they were a little bit looser. So, but that's these ones. I was going to put a bigger one on the bottom because that's going to get base. So I might put like not touching the floor, but just a little bit up. So I might do that one last, and then plane this front edge and stuff. So.
I can hear the demons call when they do what they do, and now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through. Cause I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through. Gotta get through this This life is a nuisance, tie up some loose ends. I try to be human, find a solution, my evolution. A place like this, it didn't exist, we made it like this. So you can go pick the bad or the good, got a glass halfway. I know, it's easier to hide than just to lay low. Not everyone in life has got a halo. I'm standing in the red inside a payphone. Just wanna break, no, I'm not gonna give in. Take a last shot, Michael J. Win. No, I'm not a robot, I'm in my own skin. Never get lost when thoughts pull you in. I miss the old you, we died with a purpose. All the energy around me felt nervous, scared I would pop out fast to the surface. Had to cut it off before you made me worthless. Torn apart, I've been torn and scarred. I had a given art, but now I'm thinking smart. I'm keeping up my guard, I'm hiding every card. A royal flush of left, you never know what's hard. With a back to the mat, gonna see where I'm at. I'ma fight like I'm mad, I'ma be something that they can never be me. Nice try, but they'll see I achieve everything while they stay salty. When they do what they do, and now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through. Cause I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through.
Okay, well, that took all day long. Seemed like shouldn't seem like it should take that long, but I milled the pieces, cut them, fit them, sharpened the plane blade for when I trim this stuff. But it took a while. I added a lot of glue, you know, glued the heck out of it so it's strong. You know, these are butt joints here, but this is all glued, and so that's going to be super strong. And so it took a while, but that was probably the worst of it. I had to clean it all up, you know, it took a while. So I still have to do the bottom pieces. I was going to go with a little thicker piece because that's going to get base trim, and I didn't want to have just like an inch and a half there. I wanted like 4 inches or something more substantial. So the next step is to trim them, cut the backboards, get those ready, and then probably start putty, sand, knock off all these sharp edges, and get ready to prime them. And then I was not sure, I might just put the backboard. I was gonna pre-paint that, but I might just put it all together and then just paint it, you know, just bite the bullet and paint it like that. So because you get good glue, and you know, that way it'll be all put together. And then the trim is the last step, but that's easy, and that's quick, pretty quick. And I'm still debating on how that's going to go against the wall. I mean, a lot of bookshelves, they just run flat, you know, just run it to the end. I mean, you could do that, but I don't have, I think I'm going on like 3 full days, 3.5 work days, maybe 4 with getting material, probably like about 4 days so far. It's Wednesday today, and I'm supposed to be getting this close to install around Friday, Saturday, or maybe even I'll even put it off. But so it's still covering my work. It seems like a lot of work and a lot of time in it, but it's really not too bad. But it's kind of it's been a little bit of a project. So, but that's about it for now. And tomorrow I will you know, continue with trimming, do the backboard, and I'm gonna add these bottom boards. So I'm gonna add a thicker board down there, or a wider board. This one I just did, and it probably went a little quicker. A couple of these came up a hair short, because depending on where you cut on the line, oops, sorry. Depending on, you know, where you cut, you know, it's real easy to cut them a hair short. I should have gone a little tighter, but so what I did on a couple of them is I just added a piece, cut a little piece of that. So that's my board stretcher. Just had put a couple of those in, but you know, it's got like tons of glue, and that's a straight glue joint on that long one, so should be fine. Not too worried. But yeah, that's about it. That's where they sit right now, and you know, they'll look nice with trim and paint, so it's gonna be good. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I'll get some more done, and like I said, backboards, and start prepping for paint. I'll put those bottom boards in, and I'll trim. You know, I kind of line these up at the back, so some of these need trim. Also, I might add I'm not sure if I want to overlap here, but I might just add a 3/4, like a cap trim, like just like a cap on that. I'm not sure. Or I'll just plane them down and just leave the joints exposed, you know. So at this point, I'm not trying to cut corners, but I just want to get it closer to completion. So, but yeah, it's gonna look good, and just more to go. So stay tuned. And if you haven't watched, this is a series, so I have part 1, part 2, so you can see it from the beginning if you haven't seen it. So thanks for watching.